We're looking at a short video I made of the solar and heliospheric observatories coronagraph images of the sun's corona over the last few days, from December 8th until December 9th, I think. I don't think there's a coronagraph image for December 10th posted yet, so I guess they just span the last couple of days. But we can see the changes, in the pattern over a period of a couple of days. Back in October, if not a bit earlier, I was predicting that the corona would display the bird-like pattern that's typical of sunspot minimum solar activity. And this bird-like pattern, according to my own research, inspired the phoenix myth. It inspired a flock of other mythical birds and bird gods. Most notably, and I'd say most provably, the ancient Egyptian solar falcon god Horus. There's solid evidence linking Horus to the winged sun symbol of Egypt. And the winged sun symbol of Egypt can be shown to, almost certainly be inspired by this phenomena. This was noted back in the latter part of the 19th century by British astronomer Edward Walter Maunder. He wrote about how he saw a similarity between the Assyrian winged sun symbols and scientific astronomical drawings of the sun's corona of eclipses that obviously took place before 1883. This was published in a magazine called Sunday Magazine, if I'm not mistaken. I think the article title was Invisible Glories of the Heavens. And this was his earliest expression of his hypothesis, and he just put it out there as a possibility at that point in 1883. And I think one thing that almost certainly put him on that track is a image of the 1878 total solar eclipse, a scientific astronomical drawing made by Etienne Leopold Trouvelot, a French astronomer, a scientist, illustrator, and the image in particular, I don't have an example of it right now that I can show because I'm only showing this coronagraph image. But that drawing, if you overlay it over the Assyrian winged sun symbols featuring the god Asher within the disc with the bird tail-like kilt below the disc and the wings on either side of it, it's almost identical. So Edward Walter Maunder's initial hunch, as it were, I believe was right on the money. He went on to present his hypothesis in more detail in an article titled An Old Record of the Corona, which is published in Knowledge magazine, a popular science-type magazine in England. I believe this was January 1st of 1897. I think it was 1897, January 1st edition of Knowledge magazine contained this article called An Old Record of the Corona. If you Google that, you'll find my republication of it online. You'll also find it in Google Books. And so Edward Walter Maunder pretty solidly hypothesized that the bird-like pattern that's perceivable in the sun's corona, particularly in terms of drawings of the corona, which are more, perceptions. They're not totally accurate depictions like a photograph, but the the drawings done by astronomers in the 19th century, the scientific astronomical drawings, a fair number of them are actually quite similar to the winged sun symbols of Mesopotamia in particular. Egypt is more stylized. It's more of a bird wing with no tail, just the sun with wings. A couple of serpents draped on either side of the sun. I believe the serpents represent the path of the sun and moon in the ecliptic. And they crisscross each other. So again, a clear indication that these winged sun symbols are inspired by total solar eclipses, in that there's two serpents in the Egyptian ones crisscrossing each other, which to me indicates the crisscrossing of the path of the sun and the moon in the ecliptic. So anyhow, as we can see here, getting back to this image, right now it's three fairly strong streamers on either side of the sun, but as we can see, the upper one fades out, the lower one comes in. Okay, it switched back to the beginning now, so we're going from three, one at the top fading out, the bottom one to the right getting stronger. And if you look only in terms of the final image now, you essentially have a wing on either side of the sun pointing downward somewhat, just as many of the Egyptian winged sun symbols have the wings pointing downward. And then, of course, you have the polar rays above and below the sun. They're not so obvious in this coronagraph image, in this video, but the tail of the bird is formed by these, polar plumes which fan out, due to the magnetic structure of the sun. It's essentially, has a north pole and a south pole, big magnet, just like the Earth and everything else. So that's it. I just thought I would point out that it's very possible, even probable, that the upcoming total solar eclipse on December 14th, which will be visible in Chile and Argentina, will display this pattern which we just saw, with ideally two strong streamers on either side of the sun like wings, and then the fanned out polar plumes. We could have three like this, and even that could still have a quite bird-like, phoenix-like appearance to it. So we'll just have to see what happens on December 14th. But nonetheless, I do believe it's possible that something looking very bird-like will appear in the sky above Chile and Argentina during the total solar eclipse of December 14th. Last year's total solar eclipse, December 19th, sorry, let's just say it wasn't December, and off the top of my head, I'm got a brain block on the date, but I think it was August something, maybe August 1st, but I'm really not sure. I just can't dredge it up from my memory banks right now. But the total solar eclipse last year, which was also seen in Chile and Argentina, although further north than this year's, the pattern was very bird-like, very similar to the Etienne Leopold Trouvelot astronomical drawing that showed the two wing-like streamers on either side of the sun with the fanned-out polar plumes looking like a bird's tail above and below the sun. And I actually last year predicted that. I was looking at the LASCO images. I was seeing how they looked, even months before, and I said it looks to me like it's very possible, even probable, that the pattern in the sun's corona during the 2019 total solar eclipse will be very similar to the Etienne Leopold Trouvelot drawing of the 1878 total solar eclipse, and I was right. Like they're almost identical. Very, very similar patterns. So like I said, we'll just have to wait and see what happens on December 14th. Sorry about the background noise. I have a little problem with my toilet tank not filling properly. I thought I had regulated it so that it would be silent, but no, I got this bothersome toilet noise in the background of the tank trying to totally fill itself. So sorry about that. That's what that is. If you're wondering what that weird gasping noise is, it's not Darth Vader. Anyway, on that note, I think we'll wrap this up and post this to YouTube. And if anyone has any questions, just ask them in the comments section and I'll try to answer them.